In this video, I will capture the details of the core or the human capital factors under which a profile is assessed. If you want to immigrate to Canada, as I showed in the earlier video, comprehensive ranking system calculates your score, and core and human capital factors is the first criteria under which your profile or your profile is assessed. So within core factors, there are four sub factors on which you are scored. So the first item that you are scored on is your age. Now here it depends if you are applying as a single person or you are applying with a spouse. In general, if you see here, as I'm saying in the summary, if you apply with a spouse, the maximum score that you can get is 460, and if you're applying single, the maximum score you can get is 500. So you do lose 40 points if you are applying with a spouse, but the system allows you to make up these 40 points in the next factor, which is the spouse or common law partner factor. So people go, so if you have a spouse, and I would suggest apply with a spouse, because you can still make up these factors, and it also makes the application process much smoother rather than you applying singly, then getting a PR, then sponsoring your wife or husband. It will just elongate the process for both of you. So let's talk about the first core factor, which is age. So depending on your age, you can score a maximum of 110 points if you are applying single, or 100 you are applying as with your spouse. Now there is quite a big range of age that you can apply, right from 18 all the way to 45. But if you want to understand the sweet spot for getting the maximum points for age, that's the age between 20 and 29, where you get these 110 or 100 points. Beyond 29, for every year you go ahead, the score that you get for age keeps dropping, and above 45 you don't get any points. Okay, but that doesn't mean that if you are above 45 you cannot apply. You can still apply, you wouldn't get the points for age. But there are a lot of other areas where you can make up that 110 points, okay, or 100 points. If you are over 45, you're mostly married, and you can score 100 points. So there are other areas, so don't be disheartened if you are above 45. Next factor is level of education. If you are applying singly, 150. If you're applying with a spouse, 140. You lose 10 points. But under level of educations, to get these 150 points, if you're applying single, the maximum point is awarded to a PhD. So if you're a graduate, if you're a master's, you still get some points, but I'm just giving you an idea of how to score most of the points in each of these factors. So maximum for PhD. Official languages. So under official languages, you can score yourself under two languages, the first official language and the second official languages. So official language assessment is done through a language test. So the CLB is the comprehensive language benchmark. So this test can be, there are few providers which are approved by Ircc. IELTS and Fswp are two most popular ones. So you have to take the test with them, and depending on how you score on that test, you get a score for the first language and the second language. So for your first language, if you score over 10, that's your score for getting the maximum points. So 136 if you apply single, and 128 if you apply with your spouse. Now this 128 is only your score, it's not your spouse score. So the 8 points you lose here, you can still gain some of these points if you also get your spouse to take these tests. I will come to that in the next slides. Similarly, for second official language, 24 and 22, but here the CLB is, the benchmark is a bit low. So even if you score a 9, so you will get. So the first official language is usually English, French, and second official language is, again, if the first is English, second is French. And the last, but in no way the least, the Canadian work experience. So in your Canadian work experience, if you have Canadian work experience of more than 1 year, you start getting a point. You start getting points here for this factor. But if your Canadian work experience is more than 5 years, then you get maximum points, which is 80. Beyond 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you always get 80 points. So if you have a sizable Canadian experience, you can very easily max out these Canadian work experience factors. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.